All right, we are back. It's Tuesday, the second best day of the week after Monday. We got Victor here with us again. How are you doing, Victor?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing great. Waiting for the excitement of today. Today's going to be a great day, guys. How is everyone?
Awesome. Yeah, let us know in the comments if you're in any positions, anything you're looking at. So we got an exciting episode here today, and of course, don't forget to actually like the video because as you know, in all of these live streams, we are giving away accounts based on the number of likes of the video, and that's something we're going to do closer to the end. So make sure you do like the video, and if you can't comment in the chat, that's because you are not subscribed. So only subscribers can comment in the chat, and you can only comment every 30 seconds. So that is to make sure that we're not, there's not going to be any spam in the chat, and we are focused on the good questions. Alex is right now in a meeting, so he will be on in about 30 minutes. Yes, thank you for asking. My son is good. We went to the hospital yesterday and did all the checks and everything, and he seems to be good, and he's getting better today. So thanks for that. I've been getting a lot of comments about that. So yeah, absolutely amazing community we have here. Again, exciting episode today. I'm going to be sharing some of the details of my trading system. I do have a quite systematic way of trading, so it's quite easy to break down the entry triggers, and the actual actionable setups are very easy to identify. So we're going to be doing that for about 45 minutes, and then we'll take a break. After that, Dirk Hartig will come on and talk about Bitcoin, because obviously we're seeing somewhat of a risk-off move here, and it's actually perfectly aligning with our analysis that we did yesterday. So we're going to be talking about that. What's the future of Bitcoin? What levels are we looking at, and all that sort of stuff. And of course, Victor, if you do have any comments that on anything that I'm showing here, just feel free to jump in.
All right, I will.
Are you watching any? Maybe we should break that down first. Are you watching any setups right now? I do see that EU did come down and test this level that we talked about yesterday. We said, we had a possible move here to the downside, and I guess that's exactly what we're seeing right now. We're also seeing some buying pressure coming in at these levels. Are we perhaps looking for a long around these areas?
I am. Actually, I am. If you look at the wick, perhaps we can switch screens, and I can show you very quickly. What I see is that price did not do the retracement I was expecting for price to do yesterday. But what it did do was it came and interacted with this daily order block, right? That's exactly how order blocks tend to effect they have in the market. Price come to them and they react from it. Either that be just a reaction or an actual reversal. We don't know that yet, but that's what I've seen. But this is I would be able to trade this, but there wasn't a setup in there. So that wick that it left is just according to the order block that's there, that daily order block. So and what I'm looking at is how the market will interact with that order block in the coming hours. That's what I'm looking at, waiting for, price discovery, see what price wants to do, what are the intentions, what structures it forms. Does it form reversal patterns that I can exploit or not? And if it doesn't, my job as a trader is to just sit on my hands and wait for the market to show me its hand, right? As in poker card. Right? We need to wait for the market to tell us, is it right the moment or not? And if I don't have a clue, I just wait.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. It's trading is, I think it's a very important part about trading, because that's basically what it's all about. Trading is not about actual trading. It's more about waiting for the trade to come to you. So I always say, you want to be an observer. You want to observe the market, and you want to try to kind of like listen to what the market. That might sound weird because obviously we can't listen to price action, but what I'm saying is you're trying to imagine that the market is speaking through, speaking to you through through price action. So you kind of have to listen to what the market has to tell you, and then wait for the market to give you the right opportunity.
Yes, that's correct. I think a lot of trading is we kind of think, right, you need to be doing something, right, but not doing anything is also something. It's also an activity, and it's actually very for a lot of traders, it's very profitable to just not trade and watch and wait for those setups to actually form as they should, because otherwise you're gonna be hopping in and out, and probably you're gonna be losing more. You got a high probability of losing your the edge. You usually, in well, in my case, I have a specific setup, and I need to wait for that setup, everything to line up, for that setup to have to check all the boxes, and then I know it's my time. But any other time, it's just waiting, listening, and be vigilant, but not doing much in terms of trading. I mean, like opening, but I'm still productive looking at other like other time frames, or maybe checking my back testing, my results of the last couple of days, and so on. So yeah, it's you're constantly doing things, but not necessarily trading as in pulling the trigger constantly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I think waiting, trading is all about waiting. So yeah, I think, and honestly, like, yeah, over trading is also a very big problem. So I think I always try to say like the less trades you take, probably more profitable you're going to be. But most people think, the more trades you take, the more profitable you're going to be, because, more trades, more money. But I think it's the other way around. When you start looking at it like from a perspective where you ask yourself, how many setups can this market provide me with? Like, how many actual setups where there's an edge can I get on a daily basis? And if you actually backtest it and you look at it, you will find out that it doesn't really happen very often. So for me, for example, what I've done is, when I'm backtesting my system on like only 5 minutes, I've seen that I get somewhere between 2 and 3 trades a day, and that's on the 5 minutes. Now, if I'm swing trading, we're talking about a couple of trades every week. So if I'm sitting at my desk for like 8 hours a day, I'm only going to be trading like probably 20 minutes out of those 8 hours. So it's just a big waiting game. And that's also why, I try to utilize alerts a lot. I try to utilize the, trading views alert function, and try not to stare at the charts every hour, obviously. I want to ask you something.
Sure.
So we're looking at, all right, I'm going to pull up I'm going to look at your screen here. So we're looking at the 4 hour, and that's okay. So I'm just looking at your level. Okay, so we're going to switch over to mine, and now I'm on the 4 hour, and it looks like we are the horizontal level that I've added on. Now, you could argue that it's not perfect, but it doesn't really matter. What I'm interested in is the fact that and this is something I really like to see, when price comes down and builds this whole region here, the reload zone, as I call it, and we see that wick here on the daily came down and almost perfectly touched that 0.786. So to me, there is it's highly probable, according to the way I'm trading and according to the back testing I've done with this fib area, when you have a break and retest on the daily or any time frame, really, you have a break and retest of a good looking horizontal level, and that level is confluent with the reload zone, these fibs, the chance of having a bounce is quite high. And we also see that this is just a very normal and healthy retrace in what I see as the potential well, actually, this is an uptrend, right? But the potential continuation of this uptrend. So you have a downtrend, you get consolidation, you get uptrend, and then I guess you could watch this on the lower time frames and say that this was consolidation and then that move lower. So right now the primary trend as I'm seeing it is obviously bullish. So therefore I'm biased, to go long. And I'm trying to find levels here on the not the lower time frames, but I try to kind of go down into the time frames to see where I might get an entry. And I really like the fact that this wick on the 4 hour, this candle on the 4 hour is actually telling me that this is bullish price action right here. But on the 1 hour, we're still seeing somewhat of a downtrend. We might get, like, I'm looking at probably something like this. I think that would look great on the 1 hour. Something like this, I think, would be doable on the 1 hour. Let's look at the 15-minute. Yeah, it would kind of align with the 15-minute as well, I think. But we have to, in this scenario, I'm looking for that move up, and then I'm looking for an actual higher low here.
I see that. Well, I do have, if we could switch screens, I can show you some ideas I have. Like we left a daily order block, right? And once the general thought I have, if it's leaving one station, it's going to the next one, right? From one level to the other one. And in terms of the same time frame. So if we're leaving a daily, I'm expecting it to go and interact with the next daily, since it's the same time frame. So that is one thing that it just accomplished. It left one and it reached the next one. Now the question is, I will have to wait and see what structures it forms here to get an idea if this will be like a reversal pattern the way I trade them, that it moves out again. And if it does that, then my target will be this daily again, like ping pong, right? It's going from one level to the other one. That's one idea.
So are you looking for a move down to 1.08?
No, not necessarily. No, actually, I want to see what price action does within this area. I don't have any expectation how far deep in the order block it's going to go. I just have like an open mind and see, but it can form that structure, that reversal structure before that level. It not necessarily has to go all the way and test the whole order block. So that's one idea. So I'm going to be looking in here on this is on the 4 hourly, but if you look at on the daily, to me, just to simplify things, this is like the next station, and I need to wait now for the market to tell me what it wants to do next. And that's either by showing order blocks, fresh order blocks, or quasis, and I get an idea if it wants to go up back to the other station, right, the one it just left, or does it want to continue lower, right? Very simply, not complicating things too much. And this needs to align with the other time frame, since I trade top down. So what I'm looking for is, we have this daily, right? We have this daily order block we're just starting to interact with. And what I want to see is, we do have this, if you can see, we already have like a quasi here, a succession of lower highs and lower lows, and that gives me the valid reason to assume that this could be a head, and this is then the left shoulder. So that means that this is then the move out, and it is coming and to form. It is not a very nice looking symmetrical head and shoulder, but that's why it's called quasi, right? It's Quasimodo because it's not symmetrical, it's asymmetrical. So, and this, it comes back, and this fits in with how I trade. So now on the 4 hour, which is the one we're looking at, so for a moment there, I'm not looking at the daily, I'm just looking for the 4 hour, and I can identify two areas on the H4 which are below the 50% retracement, which could be could give me a clue of where the market could possibly bounce from, right? And if it bounce from here, my target would be the final target will be all the way to the end of the structure, right? But I shouldn't. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna have my TP there. I could have it at any relevant structures above us. So that is one thing and this aligns with the daily order block we just started interacting with. So if I put them together, let me see if I got it right. I think I touched the order block a little bit. No, it is right now. Yep. So if I see that, now I have alignment. I have the daily that has been touched, and I have on the 4 hour also quasis that tells me that this or this one could be the area which will reverse price potentially. So now I have areas that I can be waiting and see how price does behave within those when it gets there. So it needs to form fresh order blocks and form quasi on the lower time frames as well. And when it does that, that's my signal that I'm ready to, enter and start aiming for price to do this movement. That's what I'm waiting for. But I don't know yet. Price hasn't given us much information yet. I see Alex has joined us.
Yeah, what's up, Alex? Welcome.
I was in the middle of coughing and somebody put me up on the screen and I was like having a coughing fit. So do you know, I just had a really interesting interview, a trader interview right now with a guy that he was doing swing trading for a long time, and he was going against his personality, and because he's quite an impatient trader and he can never hold it, and he was blowing accounts. Now he's gone to a scalping strategy where he's got a minus risk to reward ratio. So he's prepared to lose 3, but he's only for 1, and he's only going for 10 pips. So let's say he's going for 10 pips. He's got a stop loss of 30. He's prepared to get 10. His strike rate is over 85%, and he's making a killing. And it just goes to show it's not all about like massive risk to reward ratio. If he's got a high strike rate and he's only going for a small amount of pips and it's working for him, really don't need to go like everybody else is doing, like big reward to ratios and stuff like, us, we have really tight stops and we're going for big risk to reward ratio. You can also do the opposite and it's still profitable. Super interesting to see.
Wow, yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, for me, in my head, like everything, that I know about trading and kind of the rational side of my brain, it says that makes no sense. Like I don't get it, but it also makes sense, because you have that low risk to reward, but you have a high win rate that goes hand in hand. Same thing with having a low win rate. You need to have a few very big winners to make sure that you pay for the losers. So yeah, it's very. Yeah. Is that interview going to get uploaded somewhere?
Yeah, it was a very short interview, I must say. It was a very quick interview because I was quite in a rush to come over here, and speak to the boys and get into the trading session. No, but no, it was a nice quick interview, and it will be going out soon once it gets a little bit of editing and stuff like that.
Beautiful.
That goes to tell us that the Holy Grail is not fixed. It's not something tangible in the sense that it's one thing. The Holy Grail is the combination that works with your personality and something, and that's personal. So and
everybody's trying to push people to be a certain type of trader in a certain way. It just goes to show you really don't need to be trading the same way as everybody else. You've literally got to find your way. And he's been struggling as a swing trader for quite a few accounts. He's blown a few accounts, but he's gone and made some really good withdrawals from this other account. So fair play to him, man. I've got to give it to him.
That's very interesting, and that is a perfect example of like that's what trading is all about, right? Adopting, right? So you first of all you want to have a type of trading system that aligns with your personality, and you guys know that I'm from the beginning I'm a swing trader, and now I'm trying to move into the lower time frames. But honestly, like I tend to like gravitate towards swing trading like all the time. Like every day when I'm on the lower time frames, I start thinking about the 4 hour. Like I'm looking at the 5-minute setup and like, this is ridiculous. Like, what am I doing on the low time frames? I want to be on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, you know? And so I'm thinking like, I don't know, like I'm gonna continue trying, you know, scalping, but if it continues to just feel completely wrong, completely off, then that might not be what I should be doing. But I think, you know, this guy,
100%.
the way he adapted, you know, because you have to adapt to the market. And, you know, it's not about being profitable for 1 or 2 years. It's about being profitable for 10, 15 years, right? And there comes a point, maybe, you know, if you have a system and you've been profitable for, I don't know, 7, 8 years, there will come a point where you will see that the edge of that system starts to deteriorate, and you have to either change system, adapt the system, or, you know, make changes like that. So yeah, beautiful example of, and, you know, I can tell just from the way that he was able to move from swing trading and be profitable on scalping, he's probably going to continue being quite successful because he now tried multiple approaches, right?
Yeah.
I think it also takes, you know, time in front of the charts. A lot of people come into the charts and they start trading for a little bit of time and then they're like, oh no, this doesn't suit me, and they just leave. Where actually, if you do persist and you try different things and you try to understand yourself a little bit better, that's when it starts to click. People think that trading, you're either good at it or you're not good at it, or, you know, you're born to be a trader or anything like that. It is really a skill that can be created and can be honed by anybody. You just need to put the time, effort, and chart work into it. And I think this guy showed it really well. So I'm really, really pleased with that interview. But yeah, how wrong were we on Euro yesterday?
Yeah, holy shit! But you know, how wrong were we? But also
okay.
how correct were we? I mean, we did look at this level, right? Remember, we all agreed that this level was a good level, right? And you know, we said this is a good level, but the level above that we went long on is also a good level. And to be fair, I don't think we were that wrong, because if you look at what price action did, it did exactly what we wanted to see. Okay, yes, it came down.
I definitely
again.
wanted to see more than that little teeny.
Well, yeah, obviously. You know? I mean, I had. I mean, I wanted to get that 12. I wanted to get that 12R, obviously, but what I'm saying is, our execution of that trade and our entry couldn't have been better. Okay, now it's not up to us what the market does after entry. Like all we can do is make sure that we execute, and we executed perfectly. Now price just went ahead and destroyed every single one of our dreams of that massive winner, but we did the right thing. Like, we did the right thing. Yes. I mean, did I have nightmares about that trade? I did. Did I wake up in the middle of the night screaming, EURUSD, you piece of shit? I did. But that's just that. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? That's trading. Yeah. You know, you gotta have a soundproof room so you can stand and scream.
I think it's perhaps better not to think in terms of right or wrong, because the market is always right, and it's at the end of the day, we're not here to be right or to be wrong. We are here to earn money, and how do you do that? You do that by identifying high probability trades, and that one yesterday was a high probability trade. Whether it wins, whether it loses on the actual incident or instant, doesn't matter. What it means that what matters is if you take that trade 10 times, you will end up in profit, and that's a high probability to have edge in there.
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, I'm absolutely right with that. We don't care about being right or wrong. We just want to make money. But with that said, I was so right on Bitcoin yesterday, and that felt so good.
What is beat? Do you know what? I looked at the, you know, because I put a little bit of money in those meme coins, and I was telling you about, you know, it was 400% in profit, then it was down. I looked today, and honestly, obviously I deserve it for buying a meme coin that was called Potato. But seriously, man, like it's like if I would show you all, but it's super embarrassing. Like it's gone down 90%. I've got something called Snap that went down, went up like 300-400%. I had something called Potato, and then the Book of Shiba. And the Book of Shiba, I put like $200 in. It's all good. $11 now in a day.
Wow.
It's just serious, like just scammy stuff.
I mean,
So,
this looks pretty.
okay. So
this looks
Snap,
pretty strong. I mean, it should only be down 76%. I mean, obviously, I mean,
where I got it. Where do you think where on this chart do you think I got in?
probably around this area.
No, don't do me a little bit better, please.
Okay, probably.
You know how I trade? No, like a little bit further on that.
All right. Okay. Where you went in? Okay. Let me see. You went in probably around this area.
Yeah, around that, just where that W is next to it on the right side.
All right, here.
And it just straight went into profit. Super happy. Closed my phone, and now look at it. It's absolutely atrocious. So never buy a potato.
This is yeah. I mean, don't buy. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about Bitcoin and crypto. I do actually have a few positions opening on. I have my long-term bags on altcoins. I actually have a few. I got this one on Cardano, which is filled. I got filled on Algo as well, and then I got filled today on Sand, which is already in profit. Yeah. And then I got orders in for Atom, AXS, which is this one, and then DOT. So I do have a few plans. I got about 5 or 4 more altcoins that I'm putting in orders for, and I do have some plans for Bitcoin if it goes to 60K or 50K. We're gonna have Dirk on in about 30 minutes, talk more about that.
Yep.
I want to cover.
Are you guys in any positions at the moment?
No, I'm not. I'm waiting. No, I'm not. I'm waiting.
But I'm looking. I'm looking at EU. I'm looking at this trade. I want to see a move up. I want to see a move up here, and I want to see a bounce here, and that's where I'm going to be buying EU. For the profit of this one, I'm looking for a move up to the 4-hour level right here. So if we add a fib from that high to that low, that is also front running the 0.6. So I'm actually expecting this level to hold because, yeah, I'm projecting. I'm looking for this level to hold on EU. I don't think we're going to go much lower. I think this is if EU is bullish, if we are in a risk on environment, unless the dollar is going to be, start an uptrend again, I think this level will hold. At least I see a strong possibility of this support holding. And looking at the 4-hour, we do have quite a nice candle here on the 4-hour, and it's just perfectly within the reload zone. And I think, a move like this, where we have a good high time frame level with, in my opinion, a high probability of a bounce, but we also have a downtrend where you have this this high, lower high, got a low, lower low. So I'm looking for, there is a strong possibility of a bounce here, but also a strong possibility of a rejection up here. So I'm thinking taking profits in that region kind of makes sense. However, if we're looking at the daily, I still have my eyes on this level right here, and that would then become a 6-hour trade. So I'm thinking about entering here because on the daily, I think this makes perfect sense, and this is why I kind of like swing trading, because the levels they're very clear, and there's enough time here to react on what the market wants to do. And the stop loss on a trade like this is, I can have it down here and still have a 4-hour. I don't think I have time to, get out of this position for a very small loss. If we have something like this, let's say market moves up here and then comes down here and bounces, and I enter here, and then it starts moving down. Well, at this point, I might as well exit the trade, the position, for a minus, half an hour instead of 1 hour. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm looking at right now in EU. But obviously, there's a long wait till this being confirmed. I'm not really sure I see anything that would confirm this on the lower time frames. Yeah, I'm not really sure about the lower time frames.
Can you invert your chart for a second? Go back on the 1 minute and just invert your chart. Go back on the 1 minute. Is that's inverted?
Yeah.
Okay. Normally when I, sometimes because I'm definitely better at taking longs than I am shorts. And sometimes when I invert a chart, sometimes when I invert the chart, it actually helps me just to kind of identify a little bit about what the price is actually doing. Euro's in a place where, you can be wrong and right. It's really not in a place where a lot of direction is happening. We're at quite high support. Let's just see what happens, to be honest. Definitely analysis from yesterday still stands. But when you're trading on the lower time frames, do you really want to be short? Do you really want to be shorting down at support, but do you really want to be going long where price action is showing there? So it's quite a difficult trading, to be honest, at the moment.
Yeah, but then again, what would you think if you have price action basically moving like this? Then what would be your reaction to that? What if you see this? So you get this price action, then you would probably think, well, that now looks like a long, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a W structure inside this area on like the 1 hour, and when I get that, I think we got a good structure on the lower time frames, and we have a good structure and a good level on the higher time frames. And that's where, because you're absolutely right. I mean, looking at EU right at this very moment, this isn't very bullish at all. Price action is not bullish. The only thing that's bullish is the fact that we are bouncing on high time frame support.
Yeah.
So I also, I'm looking or waiting for, I expect perhaps that it might bounce from this area. I don't know if it's going to go deeper or not, but what I want to see is I want to see fresh order blocks on the H4, and I don't see them yet. And as long as I don't see them, that's a sign to me to not touch it yet, and for a long, I mean. So I want to see price action telling me, okay, we are getting traction here. We will, or there is a possibility of going up. Just a push from here without fresh order blocks, to me, is a in my strategy, in my trade plan, is a no-go area. And actually, I have I saw two questions. Someone asked me if I trade the news, and well, yes and no. I don't trade the news in the sense that I don't try to predict what the news is going to be. So I don't trade the news in that sense, but I am very aware of the news of each day, and I position myself and I adapt the risk as well based on the fact how long we have before the news. If the news is coming up, and I have a stop of 3 pips, it doesn't make sense for me to enter minutes before the news, because that's going to be blown away by the spreads, by the wicks, and so on. But I do want to catch that move that comes off from that news, because I know that could be a catalyst that moves the market in the direction that I was already going to trade with. So in that sense, I do trade the news, but you need to be careful with the news, because news can be very unpredictable. In that sense, it's kind of dangerous for someone starting off. I would recommend not trade the news, just to observe it and trade it, or perhaps with a lot less risk than normally. And the other question I saw was, someone asked me, what is my risk reward per trade? Risk reward per trade, well, I don't have a fixed one, so I can't tell you. I have a tight stop, and I go for at least 2, but depending on how price action is that day, I might pull it off at 1, at half. And if I have a daily bias, then I will be looking for much higher. But I don't have a fixed number that I look for. I just use the structures, and the structures will tell me if my TPs will be based on the structures. And if that's 5, that's 8, that's 20, I take whatever the structures tells me. So that's for those 2 questions.
That's great answers. And I absolutely agree with you there when it comes to news trading. If you open a position before a news trade, you're basically asking to get stopped out and lose more than what you planned on. Because of you're going to get slippage in those scenarios, basically, when, at least, when there's major news events.
It's kind of common sense as well. If you've got and with news, because of the lack of liquidity, it's quite often that you do get ridiculous spikes one way, a ridiculous spike the next way, and then it just goes and ranges for a couple more minutes before it does anything. Do you really want to be in a position on a 1-minute chart trading news? It's like literally, it's the last thing that you want to be doing, to be honest. But unless you just want to take away all your stop losses and just go for it,
If I would, like, if I'm obligated to trade the news, I could, but to do that, I would have to go back in time and look at the same kind of news and have an idea of what the wicks would be, the average range of the first 5 minutes or the first minute. And based on that, plus the possibility of the slippage, put my stops. But when I do that, my system is completely different because I won't get any tie stop loss. My stops would be like 30 pips, 50 pips away. And that's a complete different type of way of trading. So it's you could, but I don't approach the news in such a way. But there is a lot of movement, and there's volatility, there's opportunity, but you need to know what you're doing. If you're just going at it the same way you trade the rest of the price action, you will get stopped out and you get slippage, and you will get, instead of losing 1 hour, you'll be losing 4 or 5, and it's that's when you need to be responsible as a trader, as to know when you can and when you cannot participate in the market.
How many trades do you take in a day, Victor?
It depends. It depends on the structures and the opportunities. There are days that I don't trade I don't take any trades. That doesn't happen very often, but there are days when there's no signal. And there are days where I trade up to 20 trades in a day. So it varies a lot. In my back testing, it's around between 1, 2, up to 6. But that's
did you say that there's some days where you take 20 trades?
Yes.
Wow.
There are some days, since I trade a GU and EU, there's sometimes I have a setup, and I can have up to 3 entries per time frame. And as you know, I trade the 1 minute, the 2 minute, the 3 minutes, and the 5 minutes, and they don't all set up at the same time. But I could have like 2 on the 3, 1 on the 1, and another 2 on the 5. And
but it's basically the same setup, right?
It is the same. Those are entries, yes. But that's the same setup. Those are signals on the same structure. And I think it's also important to differentiate between how many trade setups do you take a day and how many executions is there per day. Because if I have a trade setup on, let's say, EU, and I have 4 entry orders, well, I would view that as not 4 trades, but I would kind of view it as one trade, if you know what I mean. Yeah, sure. Well, if you ask me in terms of signals, that's up to 20. But setups, it's usually 1 or 2.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense, definitely.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to play here. My Gandalf. Where's Gandalf? We need Gandalf here. Sorry, guys, to disrupt you guys. Oh, pardon me.
You should.
Sorry if anybody had really loud headphones on. I do apologize.
You would do a great DJ, man.
Thank you very much. Yeah, man. I hope you guys like the Gandalf sound effect, though. The mayor is always protected us from getting stopped out, and obviously Gandalf is there just to protect the mayor. So maybe we should do a meme coin, like meh, like on Sol. Think it could pop off, you know?
Yeah.
There you go. Sorry about that,
Megcoin.
guys.
Yeah.
That's a button.
Yeah, there's gonna be someone who creates a Megcoin now, and it's just gonna pump, and we're gonna get shit for that. We are not endorsing any shit coins or meme coins or anything. If there's a Megcoin out there, it's not our coin. Do not buy it, please.
Or is it? Or is it Victor?
Or is it?
With that mask on? It could be. It could be. It could be the meme maker. You don't know.
What's this? This is a question. Oh, why my entry on that link keep changing every time I use the link? Is there a link? We have a link in the description, do we?
Why is my entry on that link is keep changing it? I haven't given the link. Do you know every time we do the challenge for me to reset, because I only put 4 winners each time, you can't, platform's a little bit weird. So if you pull out 4 winners, you can't just go back in and pull out another 4. So I have to do another link and another challenge each time. It's kind of annoying. Maybe we're going to change the platform after this month. You know, we paid for a month, and let's see if it's actually worth it, if it's any good. If it's not, we'll have to figure a different way.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna I want to I haven't really talked about my strategy yet, but I don't think there's a lot of time to do that. But I will use to.
Are you sure you don't want to talk about it before Dirk gets on?
Yeah, I'll take just 10 minutes. Okay, so
go for it.
It's quite simple. Okay, guys. So basically, the very first thing you want to focus on is market structure, and you want to focus on, so this is basically break and retest strategy, and break and retest basically means that you first want to identify a trend. Okay, so this trend could be, I'm gonna be doing this from a swing trading perspective, and when I'm swing trading, I have 2 main time frames. So I have the daily and the 4-hour. Okay, so there's a few indicators that we need on, and there's indicators called, in TradingView, you have something called higher time frame EMA. Now I get an alert on EU. I gotta check that just quickly. Are we breaking down on EU?
Yeah, the Met is not protecting the position.
I don't have to look at that. All right, so we got the higher time frame EMA. I'm going to be adding 2 of those to my charts, and these are great because when using these, I can basically have the daily EMAs on my screen, whichever time frame I'm watching. So they're always going to be on. If I'm on the 1 minute, I'm always going to have the daily on, even if I switch time frames. So my 2 main time frames or on EMAs are the 20 and the 50. Just going to change some colors here. I'm not going to, I don't have time to go into all the settings, but it's the daily 20, and then it's going to be the daily 50. So let's make that, do that green, and then we'll do this one yellow. You'll now see that we have right here, we have the daily. I have to go in and I have to change the colors here, and it should be no color EMA. Move the color EMA here as well. I'm just gonna have this on. So now we know that we have the daily 20 and the 50. Why is this not working? It has to, yeah, it has to be the same color. Okay, so it has to be the same color. So we go in and we put color EMA and we change it to the same color. So now the green is the 50 and the 20 is the yellow. So now you can see even when I'm on the 4-hour, the daily EMA are gonna pop up here. I'd like to go in and I'd like to use the line with breaks instead. Line with breaks. Not sure why it's not working the way I want to. You know what? I'm just gonna put on the indicator that I have here because it has all the indicators on that I want. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna remove the signals. We don't need that for this. Right. So now you have the daily 50 EMA and the daily 20 EMA, and then you have the 20 EMA and the 50 EMA on the time frames that I'm watching. So right now I'm on the 4 hour, so this is the 20 EMA and the 50 EMA on the 4 hour. And if I go to the 1 hour, you'll get the 1 hour, 20 and 50 EMA, and you'll also see that you have the daily indicators is going to be loading here. So you still have the daily EMAs and you have the local EMAs on. So we're going to switch to the 4 hour. Now, there's a couple of rules here when it comes to the EMAs. When going long, you want price to be above the daily moving averages. So if price is below the daily moving averages, you're not supposed to go long. You can only long if price is above the daily moving averages and you want the daily 20 to be above the daily 50. That's the idea of looking at the higher time frames to make sure that you're in line with the daily time frames. And you're going to see when you're testing this strategy that you're not going to get a lot of trade ideas. So you will have to have a big list of pair to watch. So when I'm trading the swing trading strategy, I'm looking at about 40 different Forex pairs, because there'll be some pairs where you're not going to get a single trade in maybe a month, right? But then you'll have other pairs where you have multiple trades each week. So you'll have to scan a big list of pairs. So I go to, this is my main list I have. So there's not this one. Let's see. Where is it? Yeah, the orange list. So these are all the pairs I'm watching on when I'm swing trading. So usually what I do is I can look at these on a weekly basis and then mark out some levels and put alerts based on levels, because when you're looking at the 4 hour and the daily, price move much slower and you'll have time to react. So it might sound like there's a lot of big list of pairs, but it's quite simple. So the idea is to only long when price is above the daily moving averages and only short if price is below the daily moving averages. And you have to trade within the overall higher time frames. So here, for example, you look at the daily and you try to find, are you in an uptrend or a downtrend? Now, obviously here you are in an uptrend with higher highs and higher lows. This is an uptrend. This is a market where you can only go long. Now, the problem is that price is not above the daily moving averages. You will have to wait for price to reclaim the daily moving averages. And when that happens, you can long, but your entry time frame is going to be the 4 hour. So you can only go long based on an uptrend on the 4 hour. So what we see right now is obviously a daily uptrend, but you have a daily downtrend. So you will have to first wait and see if price can reclaim the daily moving averages, which should be around this area right here. And then what you want to see a move like this. And if you can bounce on perhaps the daily moving averages and the 4 hour moving averages, which would come down here, something like that, that would be a long entry. And then you could take profits perhaps at this high right here. And so basically the idea is this is a break and retest strategy. If you have price come up, you hit resistance, then it breaks out, and you want to go long on the retest of the level that broke. So you have the breakout and the retest, hence the break and retest. Very, very simple. Now, the way all the indicators I have is to determine if this is the bounce I want to trade or not. So looking at let's say you have a daily uptrend, and within that daily uptrend, you have a 4 hour uptrend, and you have the 4 hour 20 EMA going like this, and you have the 4 hour 50 EMA. So you can only take a long if price is on the 4 hour, just like on the daily, above the 4 hour moving averages. And this is the 4 hour 20 and the 4 hour 50. The 4 hour 20 has to be above the 50. Then what I do when I have that confluence, so I have the confluence of the 4 hour moving average looking like this. And I then use the fib tool. And within the fib tool, we have the reload zone, the RLZ, which is the area between the 0.618 and the 0.786. You can look at the fib settings here, and you can look at the replay, and you can just pause the video to see which of the fibs I have activated. And then I have the 50% fib. At this level, I'm going to increase that just a little bit so the fib comes in perfectly. Now, I want to see a bounce inside the reload zone. But I'm not going to be buying until we have a 4-hour candle closing above the 50. So you could say that the reload zone is the area of confluence. This level needs to be in confluent with the horizontal level. And the 50% fib is the level I use for confirmation. And then I have the stochastics RSI. Okay, so we have 4-hour and 50 EMA. And then we add the stochastics RSI. Let me move this to the left here so it aligns with the stochastics RSI. Now imagine that this is price action. And what you need to have when price hits this horizontal level, you need price to hit the reload zone, and you need the stochastics RSI on the 4-hour to be below 30. Preferably also you want to see a bull cross. And the final confirmation for a trade like this is a 4-hour bullish engulfing candle. And there's different ways to trade this, but the best way I've seen is to trade it like this, where you have a 4-hour bullish engulfing candle. The beginning of the candle should be somewhere inside the reload zone or on the 0.618, and it should close above the 50. And when you have that close above the 50, I put long orders, limit orders on the possible retest of the 50 with stops below the reload zone, or depending on the distance between the candle and the low of the reload zone, I might have the stops below the reload zone or right below the candle that confirmed the setup. And then the TP will be at the FTA area, the first trouble area, or the last local high. Usually the trades are between 1 and 2R, mostly around 1.5R. And this is the strategy in a nutshell. So let's say that you have basically have a break and a retest of a horizontal level. When price comes down and hits that level, it needs to happen inside the reload zone. You're then looking for stochastics RSI to be in the right area. You're then looking for a 4-hour bullish engulfing candle, and the close of the 4-hour bullish engulfing candle, that's your entry confirmation. When you get that 4-hour bullish engulfing candle, that's where you know you want to enter on the 50% fib. The reason why you want to enter on the 50% fib, and I can show you a trade example of a trade idea here on Bitcoin. Now, this trade idea on Bitcoin does not really align with the higher time frames, obviously, because if you're looking at the daily here, it's just super bullish. Let's put on the indicator again. Again, all of these EMAs and the stuff that I have here on the indicator is available, within TradingView. I've just combined it all into an indicator because it's just simpler for me. And I also get some signals that I can use as a market scanner. But let me break this down for you using the replay function here. So this is on the 4-hour. Now let's just assume that the daily is in alignment with this. So the way I traded this is I basically ignore the rule of trading with the overall daily trend, because you can obviously see here that you have the daily 20 and the daily 50. This is not a textbook short, but what this is a very good example of how this trade plays out on the 4-hour. So the very first thing you have to do is do an analysis of market structure, okay? So here, obviously, you have higher highs on the 4-hour, and you have somewhat of higher lows on the 4-hour, and you then break structure here. You break support here. You have a low, a lower high, a lower low. Now, what I do in this case is I put on the fibs, okay? Remove all of this. Now it's time to put on the fib of this move, okay? So we have the break happens right here, and this is the retest. Now, I want the retest to be in confluent with the reload zone. I want price to come up and test the reload zone. So let's see if that happens. Right there, we have the test of the reload zone. Now what I want to see is somewhat of a bearish engulfing candle closing below the 50% fib. Okay, let's see if we can get that bearish engulfing candle. Again, we look at stochastics RSI. Stochastics RSI is above 70. Can we get a bear cross above 70? Let's see. Next candle. Not a bearish engulfing candle, no entry trigger. This one, obviously, close one. Next one. Now, do we have it? Let's see. There we have it. I would view that as the, it's not a textbook. It's not a, in my book, not a textbook bearish engulfing candle, because you kind of want to, if you remove that wick, that would be better. But again, you have a somewhat of a bearish engulfing candle. You have a rejection inside the reload zone. The candle closes below the 50. You have a bear cross on the stochastics RSI. You add the indicator and you see that this all happens on the 20 and 50 minute, the 4 hour, the 20 below the 50.
You got a divergence as well, just saying. Just
that's true. All right, so you have right now what we're doing is we're putting in limit sell orders on the 50, okay? Then stop loss above the reload zone or above the swing point that created the trade. So it could be above these wicks right here. Now, for this trade to be like perfect, you want to TP at the FTA, which I would say is just these 4 hour candle closes. Now, the reason why I have a TP further down is because I have high time frame bias of Bitcoin moving to the downside. We have a very obvious rejection here on the daily, and I'm actually looking for a move down to the daily 50 EMA region, which is around the 60K region, and we also have the monthly open there, and that's the daily 50 EMA. And while I'm looking for that move down to this region, basically. Now look at what happens here, and this is why I always want to have the limit sell orders on the 50, because more often than not, you will see that 50% level get hit once again. And there you have it. You see price comes up, hits the 50, moves a little bit further, hits the 50, but that is and you can see right here, look at that candle. That bullish candle comes up and it's just reacting very, very nicely to the 50% fib. That's why I always view it as sort of a magnet. And then now we have price down here, and at this point I have my stops at entry. So that's a overall breakdown of the way I'm trading. To kind of summarize everything, you want to see a break and retest. When you get the retest, price should hit the right fibs. You should have the stochastics RSI in the right area, and you're looking for a bullish engulfing or a bearish engulfing candle, depending on if you go long or short. All right.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, I like your strategy. You're mixing trend with price action, confirmation, stochastics. I mean, it's you're using all the benefits of different aspects of trading. That's cool, man. I like it.
Yeah, and thank you. Thank you. I'm blushing.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. And on a funny note, that mare actually protected my position by 1 pip. You couldn't, if that was in any other.
No way! Look at that! Holy shit!
If that was in any other, firm, you'd have been stopped out. You'd have been crying. You'd have been crying right now. But like, oh my god, my position got stopped out. They took my liquidity, and now they're going to the take profit. Not in the 5ers, guys. Not in the 5ers. Don't worry, we got you back. But yeah, it's still not showing any kind of strength, though. To be fair, it's all stuck in a.
All right, guys, I need to visit the bathroom. Which
also,
means
guys, Victor is you're off now, Vic. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so
I gotta
say goodbye to Victor, guys. We're going to be coming back after the break, and Dirk is going to be here, and we're going to be talking about Bitcoin.
Thank you, guys. See you guys.
Yes, thanks
again.
for joining, Victor, and I hope
pleasure.
to see you very soon.
Yes.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
See you in 10, guys.
Take care. All right, we are back. What's up, guys? May is working really nice, it seems.
Is this an all-time high? And we've got Dirk in the building, but is this an all-time high amount of people we got in the stream?
Yeah, it's combining the views on X and YouTube. So we're yeah, I mean, if you're combining the two, definitely all-time high of viewers. But we're about 300 currently on YouTube. So we have actually had one live stream where we had 1,000 people on YouTube. That's
wow. Yeah. What's happening with our YouTube numbers? That's weird.
Well, it's still quite good. I think the one where we had. You know what? Welcome, Dirk. Welcome,
hey,
Dirk.
guys,
Yes.
how are you doing?
Hi, Dirk. How are you doing? I think you'd be actually quite ashamed of some of the antics that I've been doing over the weekend, Dirk.
Antics?
I've been aping into meme coins, and one of them was actually potato on the Solana chain. You could buy one. You could buy a portion of a potato.
Wow, that's
have fun with crypto.
You can plant it and then grow your own potatoes, maybe.
Never know. We'll see what happens if we all
just
start
did a
going into old
podcast
season.
in German in the beginning of the week on meme coins, where we actually said would be a great strategy to kind of see, like to analyze maybe by scraping data from Twitter, which meme coins are on the rise and being mentioned in tweets, and then compare that, create something like a social score maybe, and find like the meme coins that are outside the top 50 or outside the top 100 to catch them early.
I gotta say, once they're already on Twitter, that's the wrong time to go buy them, man.
Yeah.
It is seriously.
Definitely.
Once they're shilling them on Twitter, you are the exit liquidity.
I got it. I have I wouldn't call him a friend, but somebody I know. I lives in Dubai, and his strategy is that he pays influencers like 50 to 70K to kind of, hype certain meme coins that he bought, and then while they are hyped, he sells them, of course. So what stocks you probably would call insider trading.
That's honestly that is completely disgusting, and at the same time, can you give him my number?
That's for research purposes, of course.
Yeah, I want to talk to him about how disgusting that behavior is.
Well, I guess that's what TradFi do anyway. In Wall Street, all they do is pump up, Bloomberg.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Bitcoin when you look at Bitcoin when it's at the bottom, it's like Bitcoin is dead. Bitcoin is terrible asset. No one should be buying Bitcoin. And then when it's like 200% higher, it's like, yeah, we've been accumulating Bitcoin for the last 3 years. That is also quite disgusting. We had
where people call it the top or the bottom.
Yeah. FUD is a real thing in finance. It really is. I mean,
that's what happened with FTX. Imagine if CZ, he didn't start putting all of that stuff on Twitter. Maybe the FTX thing would have gone along a little bit more. He was the one that fanned the flames.
Well, I don't know. Like FTX was just it seems like Sam was pretty much fucked from the very beginning, if I'm gonna be honest. Like what Binance did, like what CC did, is like, yeah, he definitely started something, but he brought it to light. I mean, what Sam did was he basically, what he did was basically had like a customer funds on FTX. It's just he just took from that and did whatever he wanted. Like the customer funds funded his long, high leverage positions. It's insane. I mean,
a ton of it just on derivative trading or futures
trading. Yeah, and they traded so badly as well. Like they got liquid. They had such high leverage trades on altcoins, and that got liquidated. So they took the customers' funds and to not get not get that margin call, and they still got liquidated. I mean, they lost so much. It's
still
ridiculous.
remember there once was this interview with, I don't remember the name of a lady, you know, this girlfriend of Sam, who was heading some crypto hedge fund that always saved money out of FTX. And she said, when asked about stop loss for the trading strategy, she
That was
really said, we don't believe really in the concept of stop loss here. I was like,
and that was Alameda. That was Alameda Research,
Alameda,
right?
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. And I mean, yeah, there's like, what's your stop loss? Like, yeah, we don't believe in stop loss. I read that, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? What are you saying? Are you saying that you're just buying something and then you're never like you're getting liquidated? You know, because yeah, that was terrible. All right, so looking at just before we go into Bitcoin here, we are now. I'm sure Alex is super happy. No, I did not. I'm waiting for. I need another pullback. I'm still looking for. I need that. I'm looking at the 1 hour structure here. So what I'm looking on EU is I'm looking for a rejection here, right? Because so a rejection here, and then I want to get in here. That's what I'm looking for. And you might like.
This is the person.
Carolyn Ellison. Yeah,
Ellison,
that's her.
yeah.
That's her.
Thank you, yeah.
He doesn't believe in stop losses. Wonderful way of trading. All right, so yeah, I'm not going to put that comment on.
Which one was that?
All right, so we're looking at
that comment. I was very tempted. I was just like, I was very tempted to put it on, but you know,
yeah. It was like, yeah, we had International Women's Day a couple of days ago. Maybe we have another Me Too situation here in the trading world. Let's not do that.
Even a public holiday in Berlin. So changing subject. Bitcoin. We get a Bitcoin short. Absolutely amazing to see Bitcoin move lower. And why I'm saying that is because this is a very healthy correction for Bitcoin. Now, I know that I'm basically shorting a very strong uptrend, and it makes no sense if you look at the uptrend, you know, that we have right here. But also you look at the daily. Now there's this concept that you have primary and secondary trends. Okay, so when you have a primary trend that is bullish, and then you see at the top of that trend, you see the start of a secondary trend. So here, for example, on Bitcoin, it's very clear what the primary trend is. The primary trend is bullish. And now the highs and the lows are not very obvious, but I'm just going to mark it out so that it like paints somewhat of a clear picture. Where we have, I don't know, like something like this, okay? Maybe something like this, but that's the general primary trend on the daily. So each of these moves to the downside, like that trend right here, we can clearly see that is a downtrend on the 4 hour. Here's a low time frame downtrend. That's the secondary trends. And then here you have a very, very clear secondary trend. And that is also, it's quite clear where that started on the daily. You had, you know, this move right here. We had 3 bearish candles on the daily, a very strong bearish engulfing candle right here that happened on this Saturday. And I think that's, you know, if you can find very clear signals that the secondary trend is starting, and in my case, you have a perfect example of a trade setup, then yeah, you could take that. If you have a strong level below, that might act as a magnet. And here we have 60K right here. And 60K for Bitcoin is a very, very good level. Now, as frightening as it might seem, 50K is even better. So I'm going to, you know, just walk through the levels I'm looking at. It's quite simple. And then maybe Dirk can tell me why I'm right. Which I'm hoping that he will. So right here we have, as you can
modest.
See
I love it. I just love the modesty.
So you look at Bitcoin here. You have the daily 20 EMA, and then you have the daily 50 EMA. And my idea was, you know, you lose the daily 20, you come down to the next level, which is the daily 50. You lose the daily 50, and you come down to the next level, which is the 20 EMA on the weekly. Where do we have the 20 EMA on the weekly? Right inside the reload zone of this move, which also aligns perfectly with that horizontal level. And it's just, that's the level, right? That, I think that's a very, very good level. We'll look at what the retracement would be in percentage terms down to the 20 EMA and the weekly. That would be 33%, which is not unheard of in a crypto bull market. I think Bitcoin can easily retrace, down to 30% without the bull market being over. And now over to you, Dirk. What levels are you watching?
No, all good. You want to share my screen, maybe?
Yeah.
And
While we do that, I'll put Dirk's screen on because someone is shouting 3 times. He wants to know when the 100K high stakes started. That started when we started the stream. So 2 months ago now, Jonathan, no? When did we start the streams?
Yeah, about 2 months ago, I believe. Yeah.
So that's when we started the high stakes account. Dirk, all over to you in your rainbow chart.
Oh yeah, no, it's not a rainbow chart. This is actually unrelated. This is just something I'm looking at the moment, which is called power law applied to Bitcoin, which basically seems to be very, very good in forecasting timing and actual areas of highs and lows for the broad trend, so to say. But I'll talk about this on another day because I need to get into that more. Yeah, basically, I'm very much
what a cliffhanger, man. That looked beautiful.
I know that really. I was waiting. I was waiting to listen.
It was a non-planned cliffhanger, really.
Yeah.
No, I sat here. I thought about this all day.
Talk about
I'm gonna grab some coffee. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, sure. Oh. And so, yeah, basically what Jonathan just said, we have, or let me start like this. If you've been listening to what I have been saying for a little bit longer already, I always said back then in 2022, I think at the halving, we should be somewhere between 40 and 50,000 US dollars. So overreaching this target has been quite surprising for me. Reaching an all-time high has been even more surprising. And coincidentally, I just last week, Thursday, did a video on why I think we might be a little bit overheated right now. I didn't expect that the reaction would come that sudden already by the market. But in my opinion, it can be tuned down to 2 things. First of all, again, here the Bitcoin ETF net inflows. Yesterday, for example, we had a day where we saw net outflows, not because actual holders of the Bitcoin spot ETFs were selling, but because we had a large day again where GBTC saw some selling over 640 million, and this couldn't be compensated by the Bitcoin spot ETF funds. And this, of course, puts pressure on the market. I wouldn't be surprised to see the same actually today. So the number of net inflows we're going to have tomorrow morning again. I'm going to tweet, of course, about this also again. Wouldn't be surprised to see that again. In terms of correction, what we usually see in these bull markets, or what we've seen at least in this bull market, is when price retraces, it likes to retrace down to this bull market support bands, or by a minimum of 20 to 22%. And these 20 to 22% would mean this retrace is not over, because so far we've retraced by only 16%. The full retrace down here to this blue line, which is the 8 weeks moving average, more on that in a minute, why that one is important, would be actually around 22.3%. So that would, in my opinion, make total sense that somehow we retrace all the way down here. It doesn't need to be happen. If we see like super large inflows into the spot ETS in the next days, this can very quickly reverse to the upside as well. So always take this with a grain of salt. Bitcoin has surprised us in the past very, very often. I mean, look at this candle we had here. This like shot into a new uptrend very quickly as well. But so this, for let's say more short-term positioning for swing trades, maybe positions you want to hold on for a couple of weeks, I actually wouldn't choose to go short. because I think it's dangerous to do that in an asset that is so parabolic to the upside very often in the bull market. I think there's a high chance that you get stopped out very, very quickly. And so my strategy for more short-term positioning, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks maybe, is to start buying here around this area of the 8 weeks moving average, which currently sits at round about 57,000 US dollars. Next week, probably on Monday when the new candle starts, it's going to be somewhere at 58,000 US dollars. I think this aligns very good with the level of 60,000 that Jonathan was just talking about. However, if we really close below this 8 weeks moving average, the blue line, there's a potential that we retrace all the way back to this bull market support bands, which currently sits around 49,000 US dollars. Next week, probably going to be around 50,000 US dollars. And that sounds, of course, very scary, because that would mean a drop of around 33%. So here's the 33% Jonathan just mentioned. But like he also said, it's nothing that's unheard of in a bull market. That's quite normal. For me, the interesting thing is going to be with this kind of volatility, what are all those institutions or all those investors doing that bought the spot ETFs in the last 2 months? Because they are, I would assume so, at least not so used to being invested in an asset that has a volatility of like 15 to 20% within just a couple of days. So that will be interesting to see if we see a turnaround here, maybe of outflows out of the spot ETFs. If we see further inflows and net inflows, then I want to look further at the price action here also, again, meaning if we have like days where we see net inflows, where's my chart here, this one, of over 400 million US dollars, but we see days like this where the price continues to reverse, that would be a very bad sign. And that would speak, in this case, for something that we are reversing all the way back to 50,000. But it's funny, like a price like 60,000, a price like 50,000, that sounds so scary right now. If you would have asked me like 6 months ago, hey, on mid of March, you're going to have a price in Bitcoin of 62,000 US dollars, I would have probably laughed at you. That would have, all of us probably would have said, wow, that's amazing. Now it sounds so scary. Ooh, we were at 73,500. Now we're back at 63 or 62,000. Oh my God, everything is crashing. Be aware that this might eventually be one of your last chances to catch Bitcoin for lower prices. Because if everything that becomes true, what we've seen over the last cycles, and by the way, this is also what this here says, this power law of Bitcoin, then we are currently in the transition to the bull market. So the real bull market has not even started. And the inventor of this power law model, by the way, says the top is probably going to be in 2025 somewhere at 210,000 US dollars. So this price reversal might actually now be your last chance. It might be. Yeah? Please always take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research, no financial advice, etc., etc. Your last chance to buy at lower prices. So do not be afraid if we see really 57 or 58,000 or even 50,000 US dollars. But I think we are going to see what we always see in times like this. People suddenly getting super bearish and posting stuff like, oh, it's going to retrace to 20,000 now. Or it's going to...
Yeah.
I saw Peter Schiff posting this morning again. I actually commented on it on Twitter because he's kind of my indicator for local lows in Bitcoin. Whenever he writes something about Bitcoin, something bad, of course, about Bitcoin, this is usually when we see kind of the local low.
Guys, I showed my strategy earlier, and it aligned like it aligns so nicely with the bad. God damn it! I forgot what I was about to say. I was reading a comment and now it's gone. So you said that this might be the last time. Yeah, I needed to get some coffee. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Look at that! It's a goat on here. It's a goat on here because we are the goats. Yeah, you said that this might be the last time to get into Bitcoin. Like this might be the last major retrace before another strong move to the upside. And I think, we had one comment about how, does Bitcoin follow technical analysis standards? And I would say yes. Not only Bitcoin, like all markets in some way is you'll find trends and break and retest. You find level, like price reacts to supply and demand. And it's quite easy to find those levels using technical analysis, like very simple technical analysis. One thing that Bitcoin does, however, is it's quite difficult to trade Bitcoin, at least in my opinion, on the lower time frames. But on the higher time frames, it works so well. We can go out, or we can look at the weekly here. Let's go to so this is on the weekly. Now this is the perp on Bybit, so I don't have all the price action, but basically what we're seeing here on the weekly is we're seeing very clear, like very, very clear levels. Here's a support level right here. We get retested, that retest right here. This is on the weekly. We get that retest here, we get that retest here, and then we get that breakout, and we have a very clear level, down in this area right here. And it just makes a lot of sense to have a retest of these levels. Now, if you're looking at Bitcoin on, let's say, if you're trading this on the lower time frames, let's say on the 5 minute. Now, this, on the 5 minute, it kind of still follows the rules of, hitting the resistance and support, but it's very, very messy. Now, you look at this on the 5 minute, and you usually have these moves and these wicks right here. It's almost like it's behaving almost like gold. You look at gold, and you look at gold on the 1 minute. I mean, the 1 hour. There's going to be a lot of wicks, right? So it's difficult to trade Bitcoin on the lower time frames. But as soon as you go out to perhaps the 4 hour, the daily, and especially the weekly, it becomes very, very clear what levels. I mean, on the 4 hour here, we have almost like a head and shoulders pattern here. I can call it whatever you want, but you have, that break of a neckline and a break of structure. So yes, it definitely aligns. It definitely follows, the foundational stuff of TA, but it works much better on the higher time frames.
That's the nice thing. No, the higher you go on the time frames, for Bitcoin, the clearer it becomes. I don't know any other asset, for example, where you have those 4-year cycles that work over and over and over and over again. Probably going to work now for what is that, the 5th time already. But you have to pull the trigger. That's the
I know.
thing.
So I know you're not very interested in altcoins. You don't care at all about altcoins, do you?
Well, I mean, I was invested in AI coins that I just sold the other day. Not because I was wise, because I forgot about them, but I bought them last year in January.
Nice return on that then.
Thatcher, yeah, that was insane. I 5x'd 2 of those. So, but it was nothing I did on purpose, I really just forgot about them, and I had them still at Kraken.
Yeah, so I remember that you logged in and you're like, dude, I have this bag of Fed. I forgot I bought it, years ago. I did the same with Dodge. I got an email from Bittrex, and they said like, yeah, we're closing down Bittrex, and we see that you have some balances in your account. You have to withdraw that before we shut down the exchange. So I'm like, oh, whatever, I have a couple of dollars on there. I go on, and I had this big Dodge bag that I bought in 2019. And I think it's like 10x or something like that. I'm like, well, thank you. I'm just going to withdraw that, Crazy market.
But I mean, in general, about altcoins, my 2 cents, I do not actively trade altcoins. I'm like, when it comes to crypto, really Bitcoin maxi. I think Bitcoin is the black hole that will swallow up everything else. That to be said, I mean, meme coins and everything, it's gambling, and it's totally okay if you want to gamble a little bit there to find your 10x or something, but just don't do it, with money that you need for something. Don't count on that you're going to be able to 5x or 10x just because you bought an altcoin that is chilled by some social media influencer. You heard what I said in the beginning. There are people out there whose strategy is there to basically wreck you by hyping the coin, and Well, I'll run you always. What I found to be working, can you guys show my screen really quickly again? What I found in terms of timing to be working quite well is from Into the Cryptoverse with so-called Altcoin Season Index, which looks very fancy, but it does nothing else than managing how has Bitcoin performed versus the top 50 altcoins out there, excluding stable coins, of course, over, for example, the past 90 days. And I noticed whenever this metric goes above 60 or even better 70, we are starting an altcoin season. So once we go into this red here up to 80 or 90, it's actually time to shift from altcoins back to Bitcoin again. And as you can see, we are on the way down. So probably a Bitcoin season is starting now again, where Bitcoin will outperform altcoins, which makes sense because in the crypto sphere, so to say, Bitcoin is like the risk-off asset. as silly as that sounds, saying this about an asset that has just dropped by 15 or 20%. But if you have to choose the less risky cryptocurrency, you will go to Bitcoin. We always see this happening, especially in times where the markets are a bit risk-off, which also we are seeing currently, for example, in euro dollar and in some currencies in the stock market. So it's a bit shaky at the moment.
Yeah,
I was just going to say,
what are you thinking, Alex?
And just I'm just thinking, where am I adding my Sol bag, and how much do I add to something that's already gone up so much? Like
yeah, but it's like for you see that from a trader's perspective, Sol, no? For me, it's like fundamentally speaking, it's shit. Sorry to say it, but you have something that is supposed to be decentralized, which has to be rebooted all the time by the developers. I would never invest money in something.
On a technical standpoint, yeah. On a speculative standpoint and the popularity of the coin and the amount that it's getting shilled, at the end of the day, we're in a market that is, you know, people are buying potato coins and going up, you know,
exactly
6,000%. So a lot of speculation and a lot of people trying to get rich can cause a lot of fuel on a fire, you know. So when there's a lot of people like looking at Sol and expecting Sol to catch up to ETH, and that's the kind of mentality when I started buying Sol, is the mentality that I had. Now with everybody looking now onto meme coins on Sol and people, you know, taking a lot of liquidity from other places, putting it into these meme coins, they have to first transfer that into Sol. Yeah. And then they're trading it into Sol, which is then pushing more liquidity into Sol and pushing it up. More it goes up, the more interest it's getting from other people. And that's what I'm kind of betting on. And I say betting on because it's a bet. If you look at the chart, you know, it's like it's you know, it's flying, but yeah, they're all shit at the end of the day. But that's what market we're in. We're in a speculative market.
I'm one to say, you know, I remember at 73,000 in Bitcoin, I actually talked to my wife and I asked her, you know what, shall we take some chips off the table? This is getting a little bit scary. But, you know, we didn't. And it's okay.
We're not going, you know, like Wall Street.
It's okay. I didn't expect, I expected like something going down, correcting a bit, but I didn't expect that it would come so fast, honestly speaking. Yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah.
If we see 58,000, I'm going to continue buying like a madman.
Yeah,
I am just about to put some orders in for EU. So I got just before we move on, is this EU trade I got right here. We you know, we had that move to the upside. Yes, I said in the beginning I kind of wanted to have a reaction here, but I think now that we had that move up, I think I want to get in on this position here based on the basically just based on the daily, based on the high time frames. I'm looking for that move higher. So let's see how that goes. I think I'm kind of over analyzing things here. I'm you know, there's so many reasons. The more I look, the more reasons I find not to take this trade. But then I go out to the daily and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be buying this level. So that's basically just what I'm doing. I'm just going to be, you know, set and forget. I have the entry orders, have the stop loss, and I'm just going to let whatever happens.
You want to go long euro dollar?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Because I was looking at the short right now. No, don't.
that,
You know, I'm not a good
No.
scalper. You know,
No,
I'm just in the
don't-
process of
don't,
learning. You're definitely better
yeah.
than me. But because I'm seeing 4 hours and 1 hour's kind of struggling to get over the 200 EMA.
Oh,
Well-
now you're talking, Dirk. Now you're talking.
All right, so we got
I wish I just didn't have said that. No, because now I'm.
All right, got one selling
I'm
DU.
mind
This
screwing
guy is
you.
selling EU. This guy is saying Europe is fucked. Well, I guess I'm a contrarian.
Also, stick to your analysis.
No,
don't
yeah,
be influenced.
I like this guy. I like this guy. We better get him on the stream.
But you know what? I'm going to open a short on euro dollar.
Of course you are. God damn it. Anyway, so can we? We talked a little bit about Bitcoin, and we talked about altcoins, how altcoins might not be very safe. But I want to show some altcoin positions that I have opened and how I think you should be trading altcoins, because like Dirk said, in the world of crypto, you basically have Bitcoin being the safest asset. Altcoins are super risky. Altcoins can basically go up and down. Like there are some altcoins out there who goes up and down 100% in a day. And even the biggest one, even like the top 10 market cap coins can easily fluctuate 50% up and down in a very short amount of time. So the biggest what is Meh? Meh is a trading legend, basically. It's the wall that can't be broken. It's basically the Balrog of trading.
The OGs that have been in the oh god, why did I keep doing that? God, I do apologize to everybody with headphones on. So you guys gonna have to turn down your headphones if they are loud, because we're gonna play the Meh. The Meh.
Shall not pass!
So basically,
Yes,
Meh is
exactly.
the word that we use to protect our stop losses. There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so again, we talk about one of the biggest problems that people do in altcoin trading is basically trade with leverage. And on most of the crypto platforms out there, you have isolated leverage and you have cross leverage. In Forex, it's cross leverage, and basically means your whole account is leverage, and you don't really have to care about the leverage. You just put in the entry and stop loss, and then make sure that your risk is a certain percentage. But in crypto, we will look at leverage in kind of like a different way. I know a lot of people, for example, they can take a isolated leverage position, so they can put on a position of $500, and then maybe the stop loss of that position, if that stop loss gets hit, you're going to get liquidated on that whole position. You can literally do that in crypto trading. You don't really want to do that in Forex trading, because you don't want to get liquidated in Forex. But in crypto, you can get liquidated and you'll only lose that, part of that position. So in crypto, some exchange you have up to, I remember Bittrex had, I believe, up to 1,000 times the leverage. It was like insane, right? And people really did use very, very high leverage and basically gamble. And the problem with that is price action like this, okay? Price action like that most of the time comes from, cascading liquidations, right? Where you break down and there's just liquidation after liquidation after liquidation, because there's so many people on here who has like 75 times leverage. Now, the way I trade altcoins is I look at altcoins as a way to diversify. Like I'm mostly in Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I like the idea of having some altcoin positions, because the risk to reward on altcoins are actually quite insane if you look at and you can get high time frame entries with very wide stop losses. So ADA, for example, is one position I am currently in right now, and this is on the weekly. So the stop loss on this one is 30 over 30% below entry, which means that if I get stopped out on this one, I will lose 30% of that position, and this is a two times leverage trade. So I never trade higher than 2 or 3 times leverage, and based on the weekly. And the thing with altcoins is they are super messy on the lower time frames. There's wicks all over the place. But again, you zoom out on the weekly and you find this structure where you have like the bear market, and then you break these highs here, you break out of the accumulation phase, you retest this level, and now we have another break and retest here. So this is ADA Cardano, which is the shitcoin of shitcoins, but it has a high market cap, which is interesting. So
Charles Hoskins, and he's just 30, but looks like he's 65.
Yeah, and you know, like, does he even have a working product still?
I don't think so.
I don't think this does anything, honestly. Like 99% of the crypto products out there, it's just vaporware. Anyway, so this is ADA, and you can see that I've the risk reward here is like 6.7, quite good.
Can't believe you call it ADA, honestly.
Okay,
Gosh,
Cardano.
call yourself. No, call it ADA, bro. God, ADA. Oh, God. Oh,
I'm just gonna say Cardano. Can I call this Algo?
Algo? You can call it, yeah, you can call it Algo if you want.
Can I call this Algo? What about sand?
What is it called?
Can I say sand?
You cannot say sand. You know why you can't say sand? Because that thing hasn't moved for. That thing is definitely not moving. I'm stuck in.
Well, look at this. Look at this. I got filled on sand today on this one right here. Got a 30% stop loss on this one. So, you know when I'm a bit worried about is like if Bitcoin comes down and hits that 60K region, yes, I will be filled on a lot of very, very good altcoin positions. For example, I will be filled on Atom. Same structure here on Atom would be like, and I would be filled on, I believe, AXS here as well. That's a 10-hour trade. And then, of course, on DOT as well. I'm probably going to fill on DOT. The problem I'm seeing is now, of course, DOT is from current prices. I will get stopped out if it drops from current prices, you know, almost 50%. Now, the problem is, where are altcoins going if Bitcoin goes down here? And that's what I'm a little bit worried about. So what I have to do is I have to look at these, like EUS, for example. I have to look at these and try to look for entries maybe all the way down here in case that drop happens. So let's see. That would even be below the reload zone, but I think it's very, very likely that altcoins are going to go down quite far if Bitcoin drops to 50K. What do you think, Dirk?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was putting in an order.
Basically, there will be an absolute. If Bitcoin goes down to 57, we're going to see a bloodbath.
Yeah, then altcoins are going to underperform Bitcoin for sure, because money is going to flock from altcoins into Bitcoin, the less risky asset in the cryptoverse.
My plan here is just totally wrong.
What was your plan?
Is there any? Yeah.
So, all right, Alex, what are you trying to say?
No, I wanted to ask Doug if what he thinks about is there ways to hedge risk in Bitcoin when it's going down at the moment.
The hedge risk.
Yeah, like hedging risk. Hedging.
I think your hedge against Bitcoin is same like with stocks. It's always US cash, because you're going to have an environment where the US dollar appreciates against all other currencies probably.
We actually have FOMC tomorrow. That's an interesting one.
And we have UK inflation rate tomorrow as also, no?
No, yeah, we do. CPI, yeah.
It's funny because I saw a meme. It's funny we talk about memes again. Of, you know, we're buying all of these coins saying they're shit and all of that stuff, which is okay. But we use cash, which has got an infinite amount of coins, an infinite amount of cash that can be made, and we're using it for everything. It's like, seriously, you know, it's like cash is really shit, like if you think about it.
Yeah, that's why you need like one stick of Bitcoin that you just hold on forever, you know.
The only good thing about cash though is like the anonymous aspect. Like with paper money, like with actual cash in hand, the only positive thing about that is the anonymous. Like you can be anonymous, right? Now that's one thing that I'm not really liking about Bitcoin, the fact that nothing is private with Bitcoin. It's an open ledger. You can basically verify everything. But so I do think that cash does serve a purpose in the way that you can make anonymous transactions with people using cash. And not only talking about buying drugs, right? I'm actually talking about personal freedom and yeah, not only. I'm actually talking about, personal like integrity and freedom, right? Because imagine if we move from like we move into a digital, like a central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, which are coming.
That's
right,
happening
most likely.
over here. That's happening over in this country. They're starting ideas of turning it into digital cash. Yeah, and that's what we got anyway. Everything is just digital now anyway.
Yeah, but the difference between having digital cash as you have now in CBDC is the fact that you have every digital cash is actually on a blockchain, which you can actually track every single dollar. You can deactivate and activate. So, for example, let's say you live in a country where your regime is not very friendly towards you, and you have different ideas. And the regime decides to silence you or cancel you, whatever, then they can basically cancel, your access to money. And that's the danger of CBDC. And Bitcoin is just the other way around. With Bitcoin, you have complete freedom. And what I love about Bitcoin is the fact that you can 100%, confirm transactions. Everything is totally transparent. But still, I'm not really sure how Bitcoin would solve the privacy issue, because I think we as human beings, we have the right to transact privately and without people knowing about it. And I live in Sweden, and we're the first country in the world that started with having digital currencies, and we're like on the forefront of this. And a lot of people in my country is actually like putting in chips in their hands and having everything in their hand digitally, like all their money like transactions are happening through like a chip implanted in their hand, which is just very scary in a way, and it's weird. But and we're kind of like we're almost completely cashless society. It's if you have cash here, it's actually difficult to get around. You have to have a credit card to actually buy stuff here. Like most stores don't even accept cash today here. Not like, there's obviously exceptions. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Dirk? Does Bitcoin? How does Bitcoin does it solve the privacy issue, or does it make it worse? Or
I don't know. I mean, this is also, I remember this is something Satoshi back then discussed with like the first developers of Bitcoin as well, when they set up the website for bitcoin.org. They wanted to write initially, so the guy who was designing the website, filling it with content, actually wanted to write something like private internet money or something like this. And Satoshi actually wrote, don't do that, because that sounds kind of sketchy. So it was not his intention to do something where you can keep your transactions private. It was his intention to have a system of money or a system of value where you can transact without middlemen. So where you don't have like a central bank or whatever middleman that can just tell you, no, we are not going to do that. We're not going to transact.
What if you keep USD, and you instead of having the central banks as we have it right now with infinite printing of money, what if you back that with Bitcoin? So what if it's Bitcoin backed, but you can still transact with paper money, because the value of the paper money, I mean,
we are going pre-Bretton Woods again, no? I mean, that's
exactly.
Kind of like
that's what I'm saying. I think
we had back then. Yeah.
I think that makes sense, because I don't think we should take away the power of being able, like we should at least have the option of being anonymous. You know what I mean? Like we should at least have the option of valuing our personal integrity, while at the same time knowing that the money that we're spending is actually based on on something that makes sense and not use air or depth, you know, like it is right now. So I think that's could be a solution, not to go like 100% Bitcoin, but to actually have a currency backed by Bitcoin or backed by a central bank.
Up and down 80%, you know, how is that sustainable though? Seriously, if it goes up 80% down, it's too volatile.
I don't think it's about the value of Bitcoin. I think it's about the technology behind Bitcoin. The fact that you have the idea that you can only mine at 21 million. It's actually de-inflationary, right? So today you can basically print how much USD as you want, and that's what they're doing. There's no limit, but on Bitcoin there is an actual limit of how much there can be in circulation. So,
but I mean, I'm with Alex on this one. I think you would, in short term, have a high risk in destroying your economy, because imagine your currency is backed up by Bitcoin and it goes down by 80%, and we all know at one point it will do this again when the bull market ends. And imagine what that does to the value of your national currency then, and like it will drop by infinite in comparison to. Sorry.
Is there a country right now that is backing some of their reserves by Bitcoin?
El Salvador.
By mistake. El Salvador.
Yeah, but it's not, I think, officially like backing the local. They are just using it as a second official currency that you can use in the country that everybody has to accept. Yeah,
got you.
I think it's interesting. Maybe it's going to end up being like a basket with a little bit of Bitcoin, where you have gold in the other assets that tend to be more stable. You know, for sure. On the privacy discussion, I'm also totally on your side, Jonathan. But it's not going to come. I mean, let's be saying the world is striving more and more to a place where everything is tracked at a minuscule level.
Yeah, but I still think we have to have an idea of what's the ideal. I mean, yeah, we can be, you can't just be dreaming and have these dreams, but I think it's important to have a idealistic, world, like the you look at the idea of what a perfect world would look like. We know we won't get there, but if we get like 10% towards target, that's a huge win, Absolutely. So it's just like the same way you're looking at, you're looking at yourself and your own personal development, and you say, you have an ideal version of yourself, and you might not get there, but you're working towards that. And if you get 10% closer, at least you're improving, And I think that's the way we have to look at the financial world as well. We know we're basically just fucked when it comes to the macroeconomics of this. We have I can't see a world where CBDCs are not being introduced, and when they do get introduced, that would be like worst case scenario. That's the end of our personal integrity and privacy for sure. On
that behalf, because I think it's very suitable to what you just said. There's like a date on the 15th of May that is going to be very interesting for Bitcoin, because on that date we are able to see everybody that invested more than $100 million into the Bitcoin spot ETFs. And I'm super nosy if we'll see maybe some countries, maybe some large corporations and so on.
Why is that?
Because they have to file. If you invest more than 100 million into a US asset, you have to file that with, I think it's the SEC or whatever. And this information then is made transparent. So you basically can see who are the big investors. And I mean, imagine if we see something like Apple, Tesla, governments here. That would be very interesting. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
But is I think would that be how governments? Because I did see a tweet from Edward Snowden where he said that he basically predicted that we're going to be seeing governments are starting to buy Bitcoin. And I mean, we have to understand that Bitcoin is revolutionary because it solved the double spend problem, and the double spend problem has been a huge deal in when I mean, there's a reason why the central bank digital currencies are based on the blockchain technology, because Satoshi managed to solve a problem that has been, one of the biggest problems in economics when it comes to digital currencies. So it does make sense to view Bitcoin as, as a technology that is as big as the internet, right? And for governments, at least small governments with a low GDP, it would make sense for them to strategically think about investing in Bitcoin, because there is a possibility that Bitcoin can actually be an important, financial instrument going forward in the next, 10 years or so. I don't think it's going to happen, honestly, because it's kind of like too good to be true. But who knows? It might be possible.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more countries like El Salvador transitioning to that to also get a little bit less dependent on the US dollar. Absolutely makes sense. Yeah.
We have a good question here, and I think this is a good one. I'm personally very interested in artificial intelligence, and when we're talking about Bitcoin and blockchain, I do see a very problematic future here when it comes to very powerful AI combined with quantum computing, because we know that if there's even the slight chance that the encryption standards that we have today would fail, that means that the underlying security of the whole internet would fail, and Bitcoin's blockchain would probably fail as well. Now there's theories about that, and if that happens, I guess it's a loss for Bitcoin, but it's kind of like a win-win, because that means we won't have CBDCs as well, and we might have to go back to paper cash.
And by the way, before that happens, if somebody cracks that algorithm, he wouldn't start by hacking Bitcoin. They would probably start by hacking your bank accounts. So that would come first.
Yeah, that would be catastrophic. I mean, that would be just a worldwide economic catastrophe if that happens. Because all the encryptions that the banks are dependent on would just fail in instantly as soon as that gets released. But yeah, do I think artificial intelligence would change anything in trading? Yeah, I've been very interested in AI for many years. I've invested a lot of time researching AI, and I do think that we're very close to getting AGI. I think AGI might come as soon as a couple of years, and if that happens, then it would not only change trading, it would change the whole world. We would see a completely different world. We would create a new entity, basically, that is perhaps 1,000 times smarter than we are, and trading would probably be changed forever. However, one thing that I do not see changing in trading is the overall high time frame market dynamics and market structure. So if you're a scalper, you might run into problem, but because of all the increasement and advancements in algo trading. But if you look at if you're a trader, like a swing trader, looking at the higher time frames, the underlying market dynamics have not changed since the beginning of trading, and I think that's that will keep being true for a very long time in the future.
Can I just add something totally off topic but super important? Just look at the spreads. Just look at the spread.
That's amazing.
Zero spreads. All of you guys lurking on Twitter that don't come normally to the live trading room, just look at those spreads. Best in the industry, and this is going to get cut into a short because just everything is pretty much on zero, except for obviously gold and stuff like that.
And let me tell you one thing: when I was an institutional trader, and I'm not kidding, I didn't have spreads like this. Absolutely not. Really. So whatever you've done in terms of liquidity providers, it's insane. Really.
No, the spreads are subsidized from the 5ers. This is not what we get straight from the liquidity. We subsidize them.
Oh, really?
So yes.
That's amazing.
How kind of you.
Yeah, we take well, it's zero spreads is very good marketing. People love one of the biggest things is the problems with some firms is their spreads. you know. And if you've got zero
Now
spreads,
Saul is
there's a
coming over,
position- the
standing in front of
position-
him like, Saul, Alex,
Yeah.
don't give away our
He's gotta-
secrets.
No, he's-
Saul is like
it's,
running from the office like, Alex.
So
The
once you
position
start
that-
option trading with good prices, I'll completely move over to you away from Saxo Bank.
Yeah. The position we had today was literally the stop loss was here today on euro. It was literally there, and it just totally recovered and went to the take profit. So, you know, that wouldn't have happened if we didn't have spreads like that. So if you haven't got an account already with the 5ers, guys, go and buy an account, buy an evaluation. We want you. If you're a good trader and you manage risk correctly, we want you. That's the
we got
advert
so
over.
many people watching right now. This is quite insane. We got almost 2K
Yeah,
people
1,000,
watching.
1,800. Yeah, this is probably
Guys,
the biggest amount.
Like,
of
so
people
if
that
you're
we've,
watching this on
had on.
Twitter, or if you're watching this on X, definitely go over to YouTube, because the giveaway that we're doing here, so every live stream, every day we're giving away accounts, and it's going to be based on the likes of the YouTube. So if you're watching this on X, make sure that you go over to our YouTube, like and subscribe to the channel, like the video, because that's where the giveaways are going to happen. If you're watching on X, you're not going to be able to get in on the giveaway. So make sure that you run over to YouTube and
I wonder if I can
watch live.
put the link in the stream on. Is there a way I can put the link on the stream?
Yeah, I can do that. I have the
No, the stream
open here.
on Twitter though. Can I put the link on the stream on Twitter?
It should be there, no? Actually, I mean, oh no, you are no. Streamlabs works differently.
Yeah, I don't know how we're supposed to do that, but yeah, I probably have people working on that as we speak.
So is that time? Is it the giveaway time?
Maybe there's like one question here. At Dirk, do you know of German traders? Could you highlight that? That's a very good question. You do not need a license as a private person in Germany if you trade with a broker. So answer is no. BaFin doesn't really care. If you're a German trader and you're making profits, you're pretty much screwed when it comes to taxes, because you can only write off losses up to 10,000 euro at the moment. So it can be that you make 100,000 in winnings, but lose 200,000, and yet you have to pay taxes on 90,000. But they are changing their spec, luckily, at the moment. So if you're a profitable trader in Germany, you need to found a company here, a trading company or trading company somewhere else. Otherwise, you're going to screw up your taxes big time.
Yeah,
That's one thing that we never talk about is what we're gonna do with. I don't know what taxes on crypto. Like,
don't go there, man.
I've never. Yeah,
talk to your what is that in English? Your tax guy, your official tax
accountant. Guy. So what I'm doing is I have a company in Sweden, and I'm trading, through the company. So the money that I make from the 5ers goes into goes into the company, right? And I tax it that way. So I take out the salary from the company. Now the problem is, the taxes in Sweden is I basically pay 50% tax. So if I make 5K, so if I make 5K from trading, that's 2.5 in salary, which is absolutely fucking goddamn it. That's what it is.
I mean, they don't do it. They do it in a like a level thing. So like it's like 50% off that particular level. It's literally 50% off your profits, like your net profits. Is that how it works?
Sorry, come again. Sorry,
that'd be crazy. So let's say, over here and over in the UK, you've obviously got the tax brackets, and if you're in that particular bracket, then it's like 50% off that particular bracket, so that particular amount of money. Is it the same in Sweden, or is it literally after a certain amount, it is literally half of half of that money.
So based on
get
this
what I'm
comment,
saying?
I do have an AB, so I do have an AB account company. So the way it works is my personal income tax at this moment is 34%. So my personal income tax is 34%, but the company tax is about 20%. So I get money into the company, and then when I take out money from the company, I pay first 20%. The company pays 20%, but because I'm the owner and the only employee in the company, it's basically my money. So I pay 20% on the money, and then after that 20%, I pay 34%, which in turn is about 50%, and that's when taking out salaries. Now, if I move up a tax bracket, which is not a lot of money, that means my personal income tax becomes almost 50%. It goes from 35 to almost 50%. But yeah, so I have to move into dividends when the time comes. But the thing is, when I make that money, I'm moving the company to Dubai. So you can pay, if you pay 20K a year to open a company in Dubai, and that it's 0 taxes, but I still have to pay income tax. If I live in Sweden more than six months a year, I still have to pay the 34% income tax. So the only way to get around that is to actually move to Dubai. But then, having a family where I got 2 kids, they're in school, I got my whole family and relatives living close by. Obviously, you can't just take your stuff and move to Dubai. You have to is it worth it? And in my situation, it's not really worth it. But yeah, the taxes in Sweden is insane, and I think this is something that we don't talk about a lot. Yeah, I could also start a company in Estonia. But that's if you start a company in another country, you only do that to reduce the tax you pay on the profits of the company. You still have to pay your personal income tax, and that's the problem. That's one of the biggest problem in Sweden. It's so very high.
So the personal, if you get it as a dividend in Sweden, it's still taxed with your personal income?
Yeah.
Because the dividend tax in Germany, for example, is 25%, which is okay.
I think I still have every type of income is 34%. So it doesn't matter if it's salary or dividends or whatever. It's 34%.
Something like this, I always wonder, why are people in Scandinavia so happy with taxes like this?
We're not happy. We're brainwashed. Honestly, we're not happy about this. We're just slightly retarded. That's why we accept this stuff. My local tax just went up 1% in a year, and everyone's like, "Oh, get good healthcare." Yeah, I had to. I didn't. That's
so
another
the UK
discussion.
is actually quite good for dividend tax. So anything up to 12.5 grand is 0%. Anything up from there from to 50 grand is 8.75%.
That's very good.
That's actually really good. Yeah.
Somebody mentioning Singapore, that I was about to say that you still have to pay corporate tax in Singapore, though. So it's also not completely tax-free. But the winnings, if you live in Singapore and you trade and you have winnings, it's completely tax-free. They don't tax dividends. They don't tax trade winners. So that's very nice. But again, same problem like within Dubai, you have to move there. Dubai, Singapore are super crazy expensive. And I know that because I've lived 3 years in Singapore. So you can kind of calculate that you need triple to quadruple the money, at least here for Germany, to live in Singapore at the same standard.
Really? So you mean Singapore is more expensive than Germany?
Well?
It's crazy expensive. When I was living in Singapore, it was 2000 until 2015. I had a 2-bedroom apartment, maybe half hour outside the city core, and I paid in euro back then. That was 2015, almost 3,000 euro for that. The same apartment now, and I checked this when I went back last year, is 6,000 euro now. We're talking about 64 square meters. So yeah, it's super expensive.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, Sweden is quite expensive as well. I mean, we the The problem is like inflation is going up a lot, but obviously the salaries are not going up and taxes are going up. So inflation is like the money is getting worth less, salaries are not getting an increase, and taxes are going up. So it's like it's a situation where a lot of people, like I'm just blessed to be able to actually make enough money to have a decent lifestyle, right? But I know neighbors and friends and family who are like really struggling on a salary where you could feed a whole family and like have one people working in the household like 20 years ago. Like now in Sweden, it's almost like you need to make so much money if you like. I would love for my fiance to not have to work and take care of the children, but that is almost impossible in Sweden. Like you need to make so much money for that to be to support your whole household. It's crazy today, but was 20 years ago that was very possible.
Yeah. Guys,
all right,
I have to make a move.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm going to I'm going to do the giveaway. Oh my god, sorry, the music.
Good luck to everybody on the giveaway. Make the most of it. Yeah. Thanks for having me again here. And
next time we'll see you at 58k.
Yeah, 58k or 80k. Those two extremes.
Ooh, I don't know which one I'd prefer.
I know which one.
There you go.
First 58, then 80. That would be very nice.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody.
Okay, guys.
Bye-bye.
Say goodbye to Doug.
Take care, man.
Take care, as well in the description if you want to see his socials. But for everybody that stayed here to the end, we are about to do the giveaway.
Let's do this.
I'm going to post the link, and Jonathan, do you want to just upgrade the secret word for us? And I'm going to post this in the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We
have a lot of views on Twitter, but I think I'm trying to figure out: are we seeing live? Are we seeing live views? Are we seeing live views, or are we seeing like?
Yeah, those are live views, mate.
That's insane. That's a lot of views.
Those are live views.
Nice.
You know why? Because on Twitter they put it at the top, and because they put it at the top, it's out there for everybody. YouTube, obviously, you got so much other content. But yeah.
You wanted to put the word on the screen. Oh.
Yeah, so that's how you enter in. For everybody that's trying to get into the link, the secret word to get into the link, that's the code. I'm just trying to figure out how we can give it to the guys who are watching. You know what I can do? I can do this. I've got it. I know how to do this. So if you are on, okay, that's not how you do it. Great. Okay. Okay, let's do it this way. I'm going to share my screen. For everybody that has got an extra phone, they want to scan. You are on. There you go. If you scan that, hopefully it works. Let me double check and see if that works. If I can scan it from there. Yeah, I should be able to scan it. Maybe not.
Right, so
if you're on Twitter, you can actually scan that code and it will come up with the giveaway. So that's the way that we're going to do it.
Right, that's awesome.
Hopefully that works. Hopefully that works.
Great.
And I'm not going to. Everybody will get an email as well. The winners will also get an email. I can't show the winners on screen because unfortunately it actually shows all of their details, which we had to delete a stream the other week because we showed everybody's email address and where they're from, their postal address, and everything else. Which you don't know. You don't want somebody knocking on your door to get that 250k bootcamp that we're providing you. Gotta be careful. But for all your gym guys,
Yeah, buddy.
Lightweight. We gotta get some more sound effects, I think, mate.
Yeah.
This is an all-time high, no? 2,055 people.
It is. It's definitely an all-time high, and we have 1,500 people watching on X, and then we have over 550 on YouTube, which is very good. Very good. My orders for EU is about to get hit soon, hopefully.
Yeah, I wonder how it works if.
Yeah, I want to, like, if anyone on here is familiar with how the views on Twitter works,
No, so
I'm
looking on X app, and it does say 1,500 coming from X.
Yeah, I'm looking on StreamYard here, and it says 1,000, and the number. The question is, does the number go up and down, or does it only go up? Because if it only goes up, maybe it means that only people that have scrolled through and just, you know, looked at the actual live just a couple of seconds, or if it's actually people actually watching live.
So some people on X say, could you go on X and just comment the link so people can go and do the giveaway, mate?
Yeah.
Oh, I think somebody's done it. What a nice person. What an absolute great geezer. Great geezer. There you go. Mate, Twitter, since Elon Musk came onto the thing, like, he's just made Twitter like the best app in the world. Except for all the, you know, you got a little bit. He's got still some work to do with getting rid of all the spam and stuff, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's really great. I think the it's different though. I think the what I don't like is the quality of the content. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just.
Okay, so I could get rid of this. I think he's done this now, so I'm just going to just double check and see if everything.
Okay, don't show the winners, man. You're showing.
Yeah, I'm not going to show the winners.
All right.
Oh, it should just show the entries. Okay, so there you go. You've got 4,271 entries, 1,510 actions. So that means 1,510 people have jumped in to actually do something with the link, and they've been able to gather 4,275 entries. So there's a lot of people that still haven't, unless this is just not loading in real time. There's still a lot of people that haven't used the link yet. Yeah, it's slowly going up. So we'll give a little bit of time because there's a lot of people. Maybe if you put it back on Twitter as well, just because there's a lot of people on Twitter, they might not be able to see the comments.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll change the giveaway so that it gives more accounts next time, because now we know how to do it. Maybe we can do more accounts next time. we'll do. Well, it depends off the likes. What's the likes at? Still haven't looked.
We have 834 likes. So we should have, going forward, we should be adding the link in the description as well, I think.
Yeah.
Can you send me the link on private?
Yeah, I'll send you the link in private. Yeah, and if you just post that in the live.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, shall I double check and see? Okay, there you go. No, see, I do see the 1,600 live views.
Yeah. I have to look that up. But yeah, if you're watching on Twitter, you want to make sure that you're moving over to the YouTube channel as well. Now, of course, you can join the giveaway on Twitter, but the actual the giveaway, the accounts that we're giving away, the number of accounts that we're giving away is based on the likes on YouTube. Make sure that you're on YouTube as well.
Okay, should we, I think that's enough people. 1,613. Do you think we should just go, like, no link? Some people are still saying about the link. We'll give everybody another 4 minutes. With regards to the link, you can go on to, there you go, it's been posted again. But if you go to,
so I will pin
Twitter.
I will pin that comment so you can look at the you can okay, I can't pin. Oh, I'm on the wait a minute. I will pin the comment. So if you go to the comment section on YouTube, you will find the link as a pinned comment. So go to the YouTube live stream and you will find the link as a pinned comment. And I will also add the did I add the link in the description?
I think it's done. To be fair,
Yeah.
I think it's enough time. I don't think we're gonna get more people now. We've probably got about like 80% of people here. So yeah, I'm gonna turn the screen off because I can't pull out the winners, unfortunately, without showing everybody. We're gonna try and find a way of just doing it live on air. But let me just pull out the winners. I'm going to draw the winners. Aye, okay. So we've got some people that got it from the claim your loyalty bonus. So we can see that definitely works. So we've got Quinton Jummer, Andreas Agudelo, Patrick, and Sevetla. Oh gosh, I'm messing up all of the names. But we've got Florida, Poland, Colombia, and Kenya.
Nice,
yeah.
that's awesome.
No, well done, guys. And some of these people have been here, every live stream, and they finally got it. I know that a lot of people are waiting for accounts, and they come into the live stream, they still haven't got a giveaway just yet. It will happen. Okay. But
if you did win, you will get an email. You will get an email, and so if you don't get an email, obviously you have used an email when you use the link, and you will get an email to that link. you should also get a confirmation that you participated in the giveaway and an email if you won the giveaway. So congratulations to everyone who won here today. Did we give away 4 accounts again?
Yeah, we gave away 4 accounts, but we're gonna see about what other accounts that we're gonna give so we can give more people accounts. Just leave that with me. Maybe tomorrow, because we've got the CEO of the 5ers coming in. Do you want to just tell them what's going on tomorrow? And then we can.
Yeah, so tomorrow we have Sol, the CEO, is going to come on and is going to talk a little about scalping, maybe show some scalping real time and talk about what his approach to scalping, and basically talk about scalping, what's important in scalping, what's important for him, his approach in scalping. I think this is going to be really good. I always enjoy having Sol on. He has this way of trading that's just fascinating, and the way he's describing his trade is it's very easy to understand, and it's a very complicated way of trading, but it's easy to understand when he explains it. So if you're interested in scalping, that's the live stream that you want to watch, and that's going to come up tomorrow, same time. All right, I think that's it, Alex.
Yeah, man, that's it. We're going to no, that's it. Yeah. Perfect.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining today. Don't miss the live stream tomorrow. Like I said, the CEO of the 5ers, Sol, is going to come on and share his secret magical scalping formula. All right, take care, guys. See you in tomorrow. Take care.
Hi guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. Now make sure you like and subscribe, and most of all, go into the YouTube and check our other content that we provide here at the 5ers. We'll see you in the next